I know people out there, I keep reading in the newspapers, listening to stories and people talking. Sijui political pact, sijui this. I want you to understand that there is a much deeper understanding between myself and the Honorable Raila Odinga. A much, much deeper understanding. An understanding that is driven by a desire to ensure that we leave this country much stronger, more united, more focused than it has ever been. And that requires teamwork. That requires people coming together. And I would appeal to all politicians. There is and there will never be an end to politics. There will be politics. Hiyo ni hali ya maisha. But please do not misinterpret politics with this deeper understanding. Politics will come and go. Kenya will remain. But what we are committed to is that politics will never again drive our country to bloodshed, destruction of property, and animosity amongst our people. We are desirous of working together. We may even compete in future. But we want to compete on the basis of what agenda do we have for the country, not because of which ethnic group we come from or what religion we are. I am a great believer in history. Some of my colleagues say that history has no relevance. I believe history has great relevance. A nation that doesn't have history is a nation that doesn't have a soul. And you need to have a soul in order to know where you are and where you're going. Because then otherwise you're no different than an animal who just wakes up, wants to eat, kuisha akikula ni kulala na kuendelea. But you must have a soul, because that soul is what makes you different from beast. And as we reflect, as we learn from the past, we then should rededicate ourselves to making life better in the future. And as my brother Raila here has said, as much as there's been a lot of misunderstanding, that is the basis on which we came together. And we said, these great men set out with a dream, with a vision for this country. Much has been attained, but there are still issues. We are not as united a people as we should be. There are still challenges that our nation is faced with, that we were still faced with in the early days of struggle and independence. We are still struggling with ensuring we have given our people proper education, proper health, alleviating poverty. And all these are our challenges. And no one single individual can manage these on their own. We need to come together. We need to have common purpose. We need to have unity. And unity does not thrive, again, as the bishop has told us today, in an environment of mistrust, in an environment of anger, in an environment of animosity, where we look at ourselves not because of whom we are and what we can do and the talent that God has given us, but we look at ourselves through the lenses of the negative. My tribe, my community, my clan. And we know that that has been a destructive force in this country. And we have agreed that we can't allow these negative elements to continue to drive our society. Because so long as we do, we shall never achieve our objective. We shall never achieve the dreams of our forefathers. We shall never achieve the vision that they had for this country. And a time comes when we must let go of the normal petty issues of the day and petty politicking, and come together on the more fundamental issues that make us who we are. Come together and foster unity amongst our people. We want to be able to join hands together and say corruption is a vice. It doesn't make a difference whether you are in government, whether you're out of government. We must come together and eliminate corruption so that our people can get the services that they are due as taxpayers of this republic. These are issues that cross all boundaries. And we should be proud to know that we have achieved our objective if we can have an election and where we can have candidates standing and being voted for, not because of the color of their skin, not because of their ethnicity, not because of their religion, but because of the content of their brain and their ability to deliver to the people of this republic. This is the future we see. And this we see from learning from our forefathers. Picking up that spirit of one united Kenya and asking ourselves, why have we not been able to achieve it? And what do we need to do in order to foster that unity that can allow us to be a focused, progressive 21st century nation? We're here celebrating a life well lived and celebrating a man who sacrificed for his country and who laid the foundation of this nation. But that said, we're not here to glorify a man because he was human like everybody else. And being human, there were the great things that he managed to achieve for this country, but there were also issues that he was confronted with, just like all of us are. And as the Archbishop has told us, I believe today, more than anything else, is really a day where we have an opportunity to reflect on that past, to reflect on that history, and to see in ourselves, through the lenses of his life, who we are today and where are we going as a people and as a nation. And even as we reflect, as Honorable Raila has said here, we're talking about a man who had lived many, many different episodes in his life. From a small boy who was a herdsman, a boy who went to school with his auntie, to working with the council as a water meter reader, to representing his people in the United Kingdom, and so on and so forth. And that is why we say, let us live our life through the lens of his life. We do so reflecting and asking ourselves, what is it that we, in turn, can do better to learn from the great things that they did, but also to learn from mistakes that were made.